Diary. I finally made it to Bilgewater. I could cry with joy. The heavy stink of death on the tide confirms my dearest dream. The Shadow Isles lie just over the horizon. After decades of questing, the perfect vista approaches. Since childhood, I've longed to set my brush to paint the rarest scenery in the world, the ruins of the Blessed Isles, wreathed with spirits and specters, ripe with revenants. I've traveled sheer across Valoran and crossed the darkest oceans to be here. My talent will be tested on that melancholy rubble. My brush will master those wraiths. The paintings I create will be contemporary masterpieces, rarer and more precious than a portrait of any Jarvan. Demacian aristocracy will drool to hang them in their sitting rooms. And, twirling my brush, I will walk into the halls of history. Diary. Passage to the Shadow Isles is proving expensive. Bilgewater sailors do not willingly approach its shores. Treasure hunters traveling to the Isles instead pay for passage to supply stations near the archipelago. They bring their own small skiffs and use those to navigate through the black mist of the Isles themselves. I've been forced to adopt the same process, and to pay treasure hunters' rates. The ship which brought me to the supply station, the Daring Darling they call it, cost me more than what I made on my last commission in Demacia. I'm spending a week docked here at the inn teaching myself to sail a small skiff. It's grueling work and nearly too much for my sheltered frame. But at least it's offering me some unusual views, trying to keep my hopes high. All will go well. That's the attitude I have. Diary. I set sail this morning for the Shadow Isles. I'm now a passing hand at sailing, but I suppose my navigation skills have something to be desired. I've become quite lost. The mist has grown so dark I haven't been able to sight the shore of the Isles, nor fixed my eye on the sun above. I'm resting to eat my pack lunch and record my journey. Thanks to this cursed mist, I can't see anything to sketch, but I'm hopeful that my destination is close. For the last few minutes, I've been able to hear strange moaning, perhaps a wind blowing across the rocky shore. I've lowered the sail so I won't be dashed against the stones, and the moaning is growing louder over time too, which must be good. My brush is ready, and my canvases are primed. Shadow Isles, here I come. Garum. The Count will meet us at nightfall. He's bringing a diagram with the location of the Cimrago Vault. You bring the charm, make sure it's for love and not lust, and he won't bother us about the side effects for a week at least. Happy customer and all that. My supplier is collecting the gear you and I will need to get our hands on the prize. Climbing spikes, glass cutters, knockout gas, etc. Let me know if you have any personal requests. I have obtained a pair of drakeskin gloves with a petrocite resin coating. This should allow me to empty the sapphilite into the vials quite safely. Bring protection of your own. I don't recommend getting sapphilite on your skin. Keep low, Garum. If we survive this, we'll be richer than the River King himself. Signed, Orliv. Orliv, you knave. The charm you sold me is not as advertised. My lady's love overpowered her for a week, but since then her feelings have not transitioned into the kind of long-term companionship you assured me I would receive. I've buried the charm in the basement to free her from its effects, but her suspicions turn towards me now, and all is ruined. I'll take payback for this, in blood. Furthermore, I'm taking steps to anonymously inform your targets of the thievery you intend. If you are seen anywhere near the Sapphilite Vault, the Cimrago family will put a bullet through your shiny skull. And if they fail to do that, I'll do it myself. Your brain should prove fitting reimbursement for my dishonor. Furiously, Count Rangapath of Lylewood, Esquire. Hey Orliv, the Count is mad. Says charm didn't work. Girlfriend dumped him in the public square. Came to the shop and shot me. I'm bleeding, sorry. You'll have to steal without me. Honestly, I can't move my leg, so I won't be much help anyways. Watch out because Cimrago family knows who you are. After he shot me, Count said Cimrago want to take your skin to make taxidermy out of it, so they can put you in the House of Horrors down the slaughter docks. I've been in that house, and it is not nice. Not a respectful place to put anyone. It's like a circus in there. They put silly outfits on all their dead enemies. I'm sorry this is a mess. It's my fault. I made the charm too lusty, not enough love. The Count is crazy. Please watch out for him. Also, good luck stealing Garum. Daring heist of the Cimrago Vaults. Fortune and Sapphilite missing. Early this morning, Cimrago family reported a break-in at the luxury goods warehouse in the drainage district. A lone burglar entered a vault containing exotic beast ichors and stole several drams of concentrated sapphilite from an insulated cask. The burglar escaped by combining the sapphilite with an acidic compound and burning a hole through the floor of the vault. Their whereabouts are a mystery, but their identity may be known. The Cimrago family claims he is the notorious Demacian cat burglar Orliv Shakes. It is thought that Shakes is yet to sell his haul. Artem Samago warned buyers to avoid any sapphilite which cannot be traced to a known jawfish hunt. Anyone taking sapphilite from the Shakes will be skinned and put on display in the Samago whorehouse, he told the paper. Next door will live himself. We have a place for him set aside. Skin of Shakes in Samago whorehouse is a fraud. Weeks ago, the Samago family announced that they had found and skinned the thief Orliv Shakes for display in their taxidermal whorehouse. Crowds pay 10 sprats apiece to see the burglar's hide. However, this paper's investigation has revealed that the skin is not that of Shakes, but rather belongs to Jared Osen, a Piltovan poet who had been living rough on the Bilgewater docks. Slight modifications to his facial hair allowed Samago taxidermists to pass him off as Shakes. The scandal has rocked Samago importers, calling the authenticity of the entire whorehouse into question. Has Artem ever successfully found and skinned one of his many enemies? Is the entire Samago whorehouse side business founded on lies? Samago insists that the skins are all real and promises he has a new one to add, the skin of Count Rangapath of Lylewood, who leaked information about the vault to Shakes. Nuka, thank you for your advice and kind words, but I'm just sick of Bilgewater. The priestess here are very meddlesome and bossy. It's almost as bad as when I visited Buhru. Of course, I honor Naga-Speers, but I'm not from Ilta. We take our time there and enjoy life. Change happens just as well as slower and steadier pace, doesn't it? After a hunt, why do I need to rush out and chop down a tree or mend some nets right away? Can't I rest? When you next summon a great serpent headed towards Ilta, can I ride back with you? Signed, T. Oathu. The priestess poked me in the belly and told me not to fish in the harbor anymore. Going to try my luck out around the Blade Serpent Reef. Be back late tonight, unless my arms give out. You're right, I should have stopped eating those sweet fruits. Ah well, new waters wait. Signed, Noko. Utha. Priestess Ilta said I should build our neighborhood a new ship house. Going to sail over to Turoa and pick up my brothers to help out. I'm thinking we should put a tile pattern floor. Can you design it? Signed, Suluil. Mathu. You have a son now. You cannot go hunting every day. The tides of your life has changed. You must change the pattern. You'll come to the Temple of the Waves tomorrow with your family. Signed, Priestess Iotha. Digoeli, I do not think it is wise for you to go after this Naga cult. The Pelangi are fools and easily led by false words, but this is not our concern. Let the ocean's clean water wash them away. Signed, Sululi. Yes, Yalka, I have many concerns. The dead do not rest well here. The black mist must be drifting nearby. I have ordered a general evacuation back to Buhru and Ilta. We are preparing the temples for an assault. I suggest you do the same. Signed, High Priestess Kutha. Haye ducked into a tiny alleyway off Mainspring Crescent, her heart thudding in her chest. Not from her close call of the Lux Piltovan Casino's security forces, but from the encounter with that mysterious stranger across the card table. Those green eyes hidden behind the ice feather mask had blinked amusedly whenever Haye raised the stakes. Easy to do so when playing with a pickpocketed purse, of course. And finally, the last time Haye raised, those red lips had parted in a smile. Rather than a stack of chips, the opponent slid a single scrap of paper into the center of the table. Haye was a gambler. She couldn't resist. Call, she said, and the dealer flipped the cards. She'd won, but there was barely a moment to celebrate before the guards were on her. She'd slipped them, of course, but not without one thing. With trembling hands, she unfolded the scrap of paper. An address, in the clan district. Scrawled beneath it, "Do come." Haye grinned. The next evening, Haye made her way through the lush and quiet streets of the clan district. Zonite, she heard one finely dressed passerby hiss. An afternoon sojourn to the dressmaker's quarter, courtesy of glass merchant's loosely watched purse, saw her swap tunic and leggings for a simple burgundy dress, chosen mostly for its ample pocket space. Only her scuffed boots betrayed her origins. The address turned out to be a sprawling house directly across from Geopara Mansion. Was this a trap? Haye wondered. But she had to know. Heart in her throat, she approached the guard. I have been invited, but before she could continue, he waved her through the massive oak doors into the entrance hall. A woman swathed in a gown of beaded emerald silk descended the marble staircase. I've been wondering when you turn up, the stranger said, her lush lips curving upwards. Would you like a bite? You must be famished. The clink of cutlery punctuated the silence as the two women regarded each other. Haye's curiosity at last overcame her stubbornness, and she spoke. I don't even know your name. Her companion grinned. Nor do I yours. The green-eyed woman paused as she surveyed Haye. Selenia. Hey, I suppose you weren't the one who called guards on me. Selenia shook her head. And ruin our game? By the gates, no. More wine, my dear. But you knew she didn't want to finish that sentence, not in front of the loveliest woman she had seen in some time. who was clearly escalating their mutual flirtation, but her companion simply laughed. Of course I knew you'd pick my pocket already. I could have not arrived at my current station in life if I had a sense for such things. Selenia took a sip from her own glass, or without an appreciation for the boldness required to live such a life. Haye reached across the table and took Selenia's soft, manicured hand between her own deft-fingered, blunt-nailed ones. I'm glad you appreciate my boldness. Selenia rose, and for a moment Haye feared she had overstepped. Instead, she twisted her hand and clasped Haye's, pulling her slightly along around the table, through the doorway, and up the marble staircase. Haye followed, breathless, heart pounding as fast as it on her flight from the casino. At the top of the stairs, Selenia turned to face her. Haye leaned down and swept away a single russet curl that escaped Selenia's elaborate hairdo. I should have raised you a kiss, Haye whispered. I'd have stacked the deck for that. Selenia breathed and kissed her. It felt like falling from the College of Techmaturgy tower into a burst of flight. Selenia's lips were soft beneath hers, but there was a fierceness and fire too in the way the other woman kissed her back. More, Haye sighed, and Selenia grinned. Whew. Hear ye, the latest news from across Valoran and Shurima, brought to you by the bloody battlefronts, wild plains, and rushing seas by the Bilgewater News Gang. Noxus, murdering traitor repatriated to homeland for judgment. It's taken years, but Grand General Swain has finally done it. The notorious traitor and deserter Riven was discovered in her Ionian hiding place and returned in chains to the temple. Insiders in Noxus tell us that Riven bore a rare and valuable runic blade. With this relic in hand, she abandoned her post during the Noxian invasion and went on the run, living in Ionia's underbelly as a criminal and murderer, until Noxian law enforcement came calling. Before they dragged her back to the fighting pits of Noxus, Riven reportedly slaughtered all but one of the warriors sent to capture her, once more bathing Ionian soil with the red blood of her fellow countrywoman. Insiders tell us that these captors were loyal soldiers from the unit she abandoned during the war, with a tragic, heroic end to that noble warband's fighting sisterhood. This is but a taste of the Bilgewater News Gang's exciting reports on the murdering exile Riven and the squad of battle-hardened Noxian patriots who pursued her. Pay 6 copper sprats for our extended edition at your local newsstand now and read the full tale for yourself. Pile of crumpled notes in Noxian script. Vasus, there's a meeting on the Naga-Speakers in the second moon. Tell no one. Signed, Jal. Jal, I don't know. Why hide this from the rest? A hidden desire is in the will of Naga-Speers. Signed, Vasus. Vasus, if there are many ways to Naga-Speers, why should we not take the fastest? Hichayalun will be there. She's a priestess too. Just come to the meeting and listen. Signed, Jal. Jal, you asked me how to speed your studies. What an interesting question. I can only presume your Noxian background leads you to value speed, rather than the quality of your learning. A Buhru student would know that Naga-Speers is not interested in how fast you grow in your worship of her, only that you grow always, grow consistently, persevere, and focus. Each day you must rise and face some new obstacle. Today you must climb the tall tree on the western cliff, then leap into the sea and swim across the harbor. Perhaps you will fail, then return to shore. Perhaps you will fail the next day too, so train every day. Train for 5 moons in the shallows until you are strong enough, but swim. Always swim. I must warn you against the Naga's coils. I know they seek to cheat Naga-Speers of your labors. They preach the sun, but show only its reflection in stagnant waters. Swim well, my student. Priestess. Oh, that's a big name. Priestess Kamal Baltani. Vasus Marcus. Jal asked me a similar question. I understand you worry that you Noxian converts are being tempted by the words of its false prophet. The Naga knows nothing of our god. She may look like a serpent, but her methods are craven. Her strength is brittle and her desires are hidden, not proudly shown to the world. How could you trust such a being? I raised the matter with Hichayalun. She assured me that there is nothing to worry about. I am unsettled by her response and by her insistence that Alawi should not be bothered. I will send word to the Buhru of this false prophet and seek Alawi if I can find her. Until then, Hichayalun has commanded me to stop teaching you and focus on my own studies. Swim well, my student. Priestess Kamal Baltani. Carving scratched and spidery writing on the bone handle of a broken knife. Vasus, you say you do not know what to do? Naga-Speers gave you a life. Live it. Signed, Jal. Vasus Marcus. I had hoped to find you before I left, but sadly, when you read this, I will have left the temple to find help. I fear Hichayalun has been corrupted. The Naga's influence here is greater than I thought. Flee the temple if you can. It was an honor to teach you, my student. You do credit to the Noxian people. Foolishly, I doubted Alawi's edict that we should teach foreigners such as yourself. I believe your kind too foolish to see the truth of Naga-Speers. Now I see her righteous wisdom. She carried the truth, but it is you who revealed it to me. Beware the Naga. Swim well, my student. Priestess Kamal Baltani. Zhao. I know you plan to kill me. I saw the flask in your bag. It smells like acid. Poisoning me would be cowardice, but I forgive you for your weakness. The wind is howling outside. I can see the mist on the shore. We will fight back together against this harrowing, and in the morning, when Alawi has pushed it back, we will apologize and be friends again. To return the friendship is not stagnation now. We will be friends again, but we will not forget. We will change. You will tell Alawi what you have done too, about the Naga. All will come clear. You will be tested for your weakness, and you will apologize to Priestess Kamal Baltani. I refused your knife, but I cannot imagine what you planned to do to her. But she would have beaten you. I know it. The goddess has shown her worthiness time and time again. Signed, Faces.